So first we have to set the motivation of bodhicitta and think that one is receiving these teachings as a means to attain a state of full enlightenment of Buddhahood in order to liberate all sentient beings. So now we have just come to the second point, which is the actual the practice, the meditation.
Ranye den de wala le ne so le boraje de gi chabar ji jang ne jar si seme ji gumo ho tang shi sombe te te ya ro ba bu sam de ji de la na no chu de so lu ne da de mo se den be ko de gumbe to ma ko lo ji ba ne ge shi wa ne gi chabar ji jang ne shi so te da ra ja ho la ma so ko shi ja le ni ta ji za wa ni ko ne yi de ni wa ji wa le jo ba da le ba ju ko ne Son dong ye la liu an ne yi ji jiang jian yi bei che ro de na to ma ra gong ge sa ba ci zang cu ma so ma song wa ra chu ba ji bi xian do ge che wa la xian do ge che wa la xie da zhe zhe le lo san xie bei zhe yang li jiang de da cu ba song ba de lo ga na do chuo de ran ju le le ba da ni na zo se me niu mu da cuo ne du song de me ge da lo ma de xie xie wan do na na bu ni na bo ye ne long be ba de che ji che re song wa ra me ba so long rong den ba lam che le chong da re cha lo ma de ji se mo du chur na de ma ge se che ba chen je bo re cha de lam che le chong da re de yu ni se je je ba re je de je da re ba je be re be je gong dan de be cha chou je sim tu mu江西省我一直都三的过的去，等你教育三的不过呗，等你也有送去的就我的，老人家教育清楚得了，做就这么放着没有吧，三的我养呢教育工作那个老师三的的，那么可能天那边呢就是得了工作说不送的，单位教育岗位三的不进，然后给他给他们现在就可把明年他把什么他们没有。江浙就送几次什么去的，他当多些是，先说江浙的爸妈现在他们这些东西弄了，没事不？那个东西，他把家伙娘都，娘做上同的你们生节去没那想收着节，大概就是几个现在大概有些生节当前边嘛些，他也都娘都是，过后嘛现在他把这些什么朋友这边的，人老外就些前边的生节当家，等人前面些节就接着不。就当这个世界的教育呢，很多现在让了听不的上，这种都没事啊，你这里怎么的？那就是的家伙的双倍，这样让给就那就那兔子有时都生的些什么，用这我都到了那个我这不些没接，那就用着我这样太贵，那么那面呢就到了叫说那就那叫说都是些我那听没。他在拉玛呀，让拉天贝，拉面头一起去到那个生意面的就不什么。他推我是他推进入，推什么时间呢？他推的，推给他，这个小人家推我了呀，他电话也的，上路也我去当了，给谁吃不起就俺的叫的前面些了说结果不要的，这一张给谁吃不起的。So now
the as regards this practice, there is the this actual practice, and then there is the between session, the post meditation period, and as well as the conclusion. So for the practice, that first one has to sit properly, and then try to generate the proper state of mind, and such as the meditation on the four immeasurable factors of the mind, and there's this need to to prepare oneself, generating the proper state of mind for this practice.
Rādāma sīśañ tamja khuya dōngi ji narsuyani mā sāla dōni cha ngē jōng chāng sim chāshī sīngi bādu sāla dōni chāshī sim chōna ani sīśa taji tō sāngye tō guā izā tēyi tōndā lā ani jizā rūme nāñjō gōng sāmbe simje ki mīnā tēyi lā che ne dēni jēne tēyi tōndā lā mā kūchū sōng chāw sōng rō sāmba che chāng rū che ani dāna jēngi gōnōng tēyā wāchī chō gu gā re.
So first, the way to generate this proper state of mind is first that one has to think of the sufferings of the sentient beings, and this should then induce the proper renunciation, the proper state of mind, and in this way that one should come up to the point of generating true the attitude of full enlightenment of true proper mental attitude of full enlightenment, and then after that one should think that one is going to engage in this practice of the deity of Tara in order to attain a state of enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. So in such a way that you have to activate the proper motivation.
아니 고노야 주주로 전에 자주 심파기 고노 주고래 대야 되네 고노야고 매바 넣샤 시당으로 전부 주요나 주가제네 용어말로 심이 공주용도 송요나 아니 왜 년조 자시지라 세도 두고요 말 고노야고 면도나 아니 우정과 천세의 지고래 우정야 돼 아니 아니 대화로 되네 우저제다 수진 멤버가 대부 차선데 우정하게 너구나파 우파동 소홍 고버지 니송 어디네 제메 팅아마동 와제 누구고 장가 마제와제 심게 장가제네 만노르제 지니 둥고 받듯이 뇌네 주시 니시자지 가제 구구 받도 노르바죠 되네 되게 하고 있으나 다 코는 거 거대에 신라 공주는 공주지 뇌샤는 뇌샤지 심디 제누고요. 어다데 제송베 켄잔레데 제네게 심디 세다니 아니 저누고 주고래.
So it's only said that if one already has the proper state of mind, then one can start the practice. And if it is not the case, and if one's mind is affected by certain afflictive emotions like a desire or a hatred or like anger, and then it will not be possible to generate renunciation in the Bodhicitta for the practice for this particular practice. So then one has to apply certain methods to remove those negative states of mind through the exercise of the respiration, and this will be done without without noise or without special sort of exertion. In a very natural way, you should then do these exercises without counting through the rosary or through the finger, but through mentally sort of counting those exercises. One can concentrate only on the breathing, and if you do just 1 or 2 or 3 or 7 or 14 or 21 times if it is necessary, then through this process, then all this the negative states of mind will completely disappear, and then when it does, then you can start the practice of taking refuge. So it is like in the meditation of Lamrim, gradual path to enlightenment. You have to think of the certain fundamental points of Lamrim, such as to think about the great values of this fully endowed human form that one is obtained, and also to think of the impermanence and the sufferings, particular and in general type of sufferings. So in this way that we have to think up to the values of the bodhicitta, this fully united state of mind, and then at that point that you have to do the practice of taking refuge. And if you could do it like as it is explained in the text of Jochu, special practice of Lamrim, then that is very suitable. If you could do it in that way, it is very precise and very suitable. And then for the taking of the refuge, you have to visualize the object of refuge first.
다 저기 세대 정루시라 제부시하고 말고 라린 쇼사래 강고 라린 쇼 라린 공체사래 이내 정루트의 제도 니요인데 저루 제부 저유 제부 지기는 라린기 정루 나시 라마치의 소신 나시 오게 오면자 수요 말 바산 신고 말이 때문에 라마치의 정루 나시 이말로 조 라마로 선 통도 인창을 잡을라 아니 조도 봐 포고른자 조들라니 근데 지금 좀 하시고 그래 so it will not be very difficult to visualize the object of refuge, since that you have already received the teachings on the Lamrim, the graduate path to enlightenment. So it will be easy to visualize object of refuge, and this could be done in two different ways. One is a very elaborate way, and the other one is a very short way, very concise way. And if you do it in a very elaborate way, then you can do it like it's very much similar to the object of refuge which you visualize in the Lamrim or in the practice of Guru Puja, except that it doesn't have the milk lake and the wish fulfilling tree. This you can forget about it, and then instead of the central figure of Lama Tsongkhapa, you have to visualize in his place the Tara, which is inseparable from one's Guru, which will become the central figure of this object of refuge. 차이의 도시기 도 추세 연배 지부가 냠자 차니자 로게 우발의 요소네 우발의 얘기 때도 같이 되고 어디에 단계 매기 상라 라주가 라마 강가에 대대상 동그래 단단데 공주 노블로그 저유데 대레질 공주 노블로잖아 대레지세다.
And then if you would like to to do it in a very abbreviated or very concise way, then you can visualize only one single object of refuge, and which is the tradition of the wish fulfilling jewel. And that is the way to do that is first you have to visualize in the space above yourself, in front of yourself, a throne which is supported by 8 lions, and above that is the triple seat of the variegated lotus, and then sun and moon disk. On top of that, one's guru, in the form of a bhikshu, with the wearing 3 different dharma robes, and then holding in the right the vajra, and with the gesture of teaching, and the left in the position of the meditational position, and then holding in both hands the lotuses, which are sort of open at the height of his ear. And then even after that, when you come to the point of visualizing the lineage gurus, and all those lineage gurus also have to be visualized in similar form like this one.
Lama chile se mada na tujuga lama ida sanje mambu kangalo su du chil du shawre kundu mato chayu ma samare lama chi gin chuna lama ko de ginure sungu chu kunjore tu de sanje kunjore.
So when you have one single object of refuge, that does include all the object of refuge. So it is the very embodiment of all the object of refuge, gathered or completely embodied in one single figure, in one single object. and the body of that, the external body of that stands for the Holy Sangha, and the speech stands for the true Dharma, and the mind, the consciousness of that stands for the Buddha. So thus it is embodiment of all the object of refuge.
Nyawa ida tundru latang lama yinru hori rugu siya tamje rangi tagudu miyi naba chebe ke she shunga saltong shenge o tinrigi naba chendu yobe me bache.
So after having visualized the object of refuge, you should think that you are surrounded by the sentient beings of the six realms of life. Even those beings from the hell and so forth are all in the form of human beings, so fully capable of understanding and so forth, so that you are being surrounded by those sentient beings. So if you would still like to be more precise in this visualization, you can visualize that your father to your right and your mother to the left, and then the friends and relatives in the front, and then the disciples and others on the back. So thus you are being surrounded by all the sentient beings of the six realms of life.
Chedang ran jiba lebe jen la derawa ran jiba le kodang e songu dome len jiba tele jobe no kunjo le yoba yichi yichi ki teba ni go jiba da teba ni darin del toba de semjen do ngai jinar wala she me zebe ni ji jene zewa chi da songo re jiba de kodang e songu jiba le la ji ge si jin jiba le jo ne go re kodang e son le chu ne nyarang Rajumba Toson, Shita Hondori, the Endikio, Tele Chanjigori.
So here for taking the refuge, you have to have the causes for taking refuge, and normally that one needs to have at least two possible causes to take a refuge. First one is that one has to generate a certain amount of fear or fright from the existence and from the sufferings of the existence, and then secondly to have the firm sort of faith and confidence in the object of refuge to help one out of this situation of existence. And then in addition to that, one additional cause that one must have with respect to the practice of a great vehicle is that one should have very strong compassion towards sentient beings, with the motivation to liberate them from not only from their state of suffering, but also to liberate them from the two extremes of peace and nihilism. So one should have in such a way very strong compassion towards sentient beings.
Le drive ben no vachiran la matu su chi le risa mendo be risa jena zawani ne mesam be pulsu su so da ne ani da da ro na ge ta da nya be se ne va tem be go di si je tam chi ur de me mi va je kang ga lo ku jo yu le so da jo yu si je tam chi la tu zi va chi me go di si de ko le de ji chuan bo jiang zhi de si be jiang de si che ta chi dang chi bo re.
And then with these three possible causes being completely present within one's state of mind, then one should start with complete faith and confidence in the object of refuge. Then one should start reciting these lines of taking refuge, such as that I and all the sentient beings. Then from today on and so forth. Then one should recite these, and thinking that all the sentient beings are around yourself, also simultaneously reciting these lines of taking refuge. And then as a result of that, then from the body of the object of refuge then start to flow the rays of light and nectar.
제일 주고도마 되지보 나란다 시제 탐지 공고만 쇼니 디지 처마 사버도 군조 손럽에 땜베 디지 강가 배 칠마던 마 정신다 디지 정 미미바체 그래.
And then this flow of rays, light and nectar from the body of the object of refuge then purifies completely all the negative imprints, and especially those accumulated with respect to the three jewels.
Lama goyo songe kosung toji chelab raja sija taji jola shube mibache chela jube mibache gore niche.
And at the same time that you should also concentrate that that you receive the full blessings of the three jewels.
Jangdu chede to dene zon de cheze chachu nibo la chiji badu samaje ge badu cherang ge shen jangdu chebare. Java na yenge sanje mato ge badu jawo le chu su samade jawo de chu be me ba chi sung che gore. Jang yu chu sung me ba ma jin jangdu ma samare.
So also that you should think that that your motivation is so that you are taking refuge until that you completely attain the final aim of the enlightenment of Buddha, and at the same time that you should think that you from now on that you are being under the guidance of the three jewels. So this sort of state of mind should be generated.
Da dan ro na ke ta nya sin sia sin de je lu men do ha ko de da di ba che. Da sanje chu na so chu na chu ba do da ni je su chen pa do chang ru re. Da ge je su ji ba da ro la phe je sanje ro bo sho su de sim je re.
And then after that there's again this four line, this one shloka, which is the first part contains taking refuge in the three jewels, and the second part contains the generation of bodhicitta.
Jinso jeba sokung na la dagi jimba li chung suna, surim li chung suna, gumba li chung suna che, suna cha we shi sung tiri. Wa rang be gumba ta, jimba ta, surim li chung we shi sung gu dube suna kacha yoba ti, ane tila teni sinja tamji ke tando, sanje ji gumu be, jobun ruba shos che, monlong ten reyo gu ne, sim je bari. Chitang ke sinje re. Ta, chebar ma siya tanda nyo nyo dobo zon gumu towa te shil ju 파마르베 네 janso langwa jewo siade chebrje sinje re jewo de jerge sinje je chebrje sinje jedan sinje ge do sanje toba jewo sinda jigche chebrdo yabe jobo jiru ge sedon de rangle sanje ji go toba je sinje dongme go yorin do ne wadi ni she mezebe ni jene be sedon jiru ge sedon nyowa se jogo segre nyowa tambo be nidu 늘 지지 류지 녀와 녀바데 니두기 시동지를 고고래 데레질라 산지에 고모토가 제고 데 더야가 더라를 지점을 주면 내조 양소된 그 인스제도 조심을 조지는 조심 조지는 쳐버리지 어디서도. So
and then the second part of this verse contains the mentioning of the practice of generosity, practice of giving, and this also refers to the practice of the ethical discipline and as well as meditation. So these are the three bases of accumulating merit, and in such a way that all the accumulation of merit then will be dedicated for attaining the ultimate state of Buddha. And so one is dedicating these merits and virtues, accumulated virtues and merits, for attaining the state of enlightenment. So that is a sort of a special, or that is a general, that is very general motivation of bodhicitta for the benefit of sentient beings. And then this will be followed by a special generation of a a will to attain the state of enlightenment through the practice of this deity, Tara, and in this very short span of life, with a very strong and very powerful compassion to attain that state in this very lifetime. So that is already the generation of the practical, altruistic mind of enlightenment.
Choga karidna go le changru sinje yore. Changru de yago je maje na chiru mudi ba de che yobare. Simje de yago je maje na tiba memba de chigore tichen le yan ru yomare. Ode zozo chigore.
So So for every practice there is this part of taking refuge and the part in which that one goes to generate the bodhicitta. And if one doesn't take a refuge, then the practice is not so much different from those being done by the folders or the mudikpas or the folders. And if one doesn't come to generate the bodhicitta, then the practice is not so much different from those that belong to the lesser or the smaller vehicle.
That's Tsem Shigong Sinya Tani Dewadan Dewa Jodan Dema Juice Jamba Tseme Domenda Domeji Jodan Troju Nishi Tseme Dome maybe Dewadan Mendewa Juice Gawa Tseme Neri Chadan the Daniel Never Daniel Tseme Shibudi Kan the Lava Tamaimba Sim that be Kan the Lava Sim the Koju of a Chen Jodan Ringi Guard Mato Da Kan the Lava is some Yamatin Don de Giomari. Doma Kari Chen, Lunga is Jovaji, Chen, Gyoyabu Yomore, Temajana, and it does Shita Yoma, Jordan Ding Yabuchi, Semeji Yabu Gongo in the churches, similar to New Atom, Semeji the churches sing a pondere.
So, after that, there's the meditation on the four immeasurable factors. First one is the immeasurable love, and then followed by immeasurable compassion, and immeasurable joy, and immeasurable equanimity. So when you do that, this should not be left on just superficial or the verbal recitation, but something that is done from the depth of your mind, that your mind is sort of fully being integrated with the practice and with this meditation. And if you do that, then it leaves special imprint for bringing up the experience of bodhicitta.
Chuna Druta, the Longche, Dungo Kandachirede, Dunju Mamuche, Doba Jobuche, to serve a Chicha, you may mission that. In the Tajuna La Maseva chicken day, Laju Sudeciore. Jizume Tajun Chile Nala, Chadu Siji Judan Dingicheni, La Menejo Suyore. Teparuta Laju Sunde, the Chokajidan Tumbacheni, Nizengi Sumshe, Chetabu Dochangi Sumshe, Nizengi Cheni, Laju Chiore, Laju to Tongre. Ta Laju to Chedu, Chow Chev, Chow the Ron Sodo, Laju Sava set up.
So what happened is that so as a matter of fact, there's the need to also to give a formal the recitation, the reading of the text of sadhana of the deity, but then since there's not so much time, so it's difficult, and then in the main text, then it is not said that there's the practice of the prayer to the lineage gurus, but here you find in the sadhana there's a special prayer being included to the lineage gurus. And so for this, then first thing that you do is to absorb those objects of refuge, and then you have to visualize anew the whole assembly of the lineage gurus for reciting this prayer. You can check in the sadhana text if you have with you.
Doju Yone Tier Kaga de Shudire, Salo Kore. Doju many Beja Sham, make in daily from Samba Majena, and kind Yoma, Pechatam, Pechato.
It will be very good if you can just check in the text and then just see that where the explanation is being given, of which part and so forth, will be very helpful.
Sure.
Yore.
Kangal do it.
Yore.
Mena, not Chiju Lotenja can check to me, you get him with Chena, and the start of Zunga Surjima to Kay or Mariti.
Without text, then it almost feels like him like an article, and then you are taking notes down.
Tawana Laju de la Lama Jewucha Sandong, Lama Gangalo Laju Pichangoli Trisha Yori, Tindi, Chungras and Kayoma Laju Picha Parmakangoli Yori, Piggy Pamas.
You find
다기 저유기 대단 지버리.
So the when you just look in the text, you find that you have to visualize from 8 to 10 the gurus of the lineage, and all of this you have to visualize exactly in the same form like the one that His Holiness has just described.
제가 생각치 세마다는 지리요. 배마탄다에 진고지 딩도.
So for the lineage gurus, even if you are not able to visualize the thrones with the lion and so forth, but you can visualize them just on the lotus and moon disk.
투직제니야 랑게사벨 라마 랑고제 디 라마 디여게지 디 라마 도시야 라마 주지쇼 또 여기 지준 주마리 라마 지준 주 라마 지준 주마데 나마 지준 주마 군도 장고 뒤주에 다가리 다들 예정신도 신거와 데레치시 대모임베 라마 창mol로베 라마 모 되다 대 임발라 아니 되게 저유군도 노루고 나제 라마 군도 갈 라마면 당차고 연노로 수주르면 나서지 chugu sung su de chugu naja ani shandap chugu sung stire.
So the whole lineage gurus will be visualized in just one single vertical line, and on the topmost is the deity Tara in his usual form, and all the lineage gurus then will be visualized in the form that is just described, with this white body with slight shade of red, and then with 16 years old, and then wearing these three dharma robes.
That is. Da ula penja seji doje. Penja tinsan alama namazı penja çeli penja uşya. Şalan gel ben dusuyor baraba. Te guamare. Shala kujel pa yuya tab dibu cheni nulma gadis shala khalu ma jeru she naje tenegi saldong.
So the also wearing the hats of the panditas, and this is the long tails, not sort of being thrown on the back, but so slightly sort of hanging down.
Cha ye ge doji dan je de chushe je ubala ge yuan ubala me do de niel te la kachi. And the
right hand holding the vajra and being in the gesture of teaching, and also holding an utpala flower, and the left holding a bell, being in the position of meditational position, also holding an utpala flower which opens at the height of his ear. And sitting in the Vajra asana position.
Le lava shirai or jizume, Cittamani ge treat gundu, Duga Lamaya, Chow, Gundu no Lucian, Lama Dagare. Laju Juba Lama Kangaya Suta Nidere, Tandu Lame Nenjo Cheduyan, Simbasunzi Cheva Mado Tagaranje.
And so here the practice of this Tara Cittamani is very simple, because that you always then visualize the same forms like the one that you visualized before as object of refuge, also in this form, and also here when you visualize the lineage gurus, also you visualize them exactly in the same form. Also later when you recite the text of the Guru Yoga, also you visualize the similar form.
Tandu mama toyodu jiransu chabinalasi rajaje kon chile yibuchi yerujuwe lamuko de sijin jiwa kundu jisu soande su chodong uruzus chile siretyo mugoje dashira mugure rajaje ogo yichile sanje choju shin rajanu ju sanje samolo ko chile jidu dude ba jidu dumare cheza chile ki nange nibu yodo medo dabadere.
So first the 4 lines, then is the one is doing prayers to Tara. The Tara is the embodiment of all the activities of the Buddhas of the 3 times.
Tā lāma chī la sō tā yāng shāma de lōsāng jēgā sācā tāṁ chī chī ngō tsū yōng dū yagā tō yagā jīsā dhūma de mā tāpa kāwā la mā tīm lāma rē rī la sō tā dī tī mā shāma de mā tīngi chē.
So when you come to the first guru, which sits just below Tara, then when you recite the second line, you should think that the deity Tara above is absorbed into his body, that is the body of the first guru, that is Tahu Karwang. So in this way, that when you pass on from verse to verse, you should think that the gurus from above downward, sort of absorbing into one another.
Losang jewe sabje tam chu tenze onchu jeje sarishi ba pame jizung garji omola soade chodung urutsus chodung urutsus sudu chogung urut sanje kubangre tumung urut shenje jerin tarchen ru shenje ta shejang ra be le ranja ta kar gugu dina yore ongurut sunaro na shugu yore.
So each time that you find the to give all the attainments, the supreme and all the rest of the attainments. The supreme attainment is the giving of enlightenment, full enlightenment of Buddha, and the rest of the attainments include the 8 types of attainments after having completed the generation practice, and also it includes all of the attainments which relate to the peaceful, increase, control, destructive activities of the Buddha.
Pameji zong karji ombu la so de so se karji ombu khona me senre.
And so in the second verse we find the name Karwang, that is the one that who had received this teaching directly from Tara.
Ta luru ta den chensang yeda la sia tingu zu yong du Karwang de yang ma ten rala ma tingu rala lama chi lama ang sumbati.
So when you come to the third verse, the third verse includes the name of a great master, Rala. So when you recite that, you should think that the Karwang who sits above him will be absorbed into the body of this guru called Rala. And his full name is Rala Losang Tembe Ngadu, the second guru. And the same prayers.
Then Sabsi she loved Madru long to just chili nature. Make each other danger umbola so that children would reduce. Did
So the fourth one is the one of the teachers of the great Tafu, and under the name Yishijatso.
Lama Yichi.
So that was in the fourth in line.
Tango no do rishen zu turing juben rula meru no chamba sambo mola sade dire. Shazi chishin on turing singen dire. So then the fifth one is the great master Teacher Ngawat Sutim of Shatse College. And the sixth one is another master under the name Jedung Rinpoche. And the seventh in the line is the great master Jishu Shabdung. Shabdung is Lama Dunche. Shabdung chube omulachi. Tal no losan jabe yang ni chi tembe nibu zebe su ta tabu kuchi niba dire. Ti juma dire.
And the eighth master is the second incarnation of Taofu, the great master Taofu.
Yama nga chabu saba kuzi pyo de pe, nga de chunde shunyo, ma khan pe du, gaden le pe su. Jizun ruma kadu ina shezi yor kumbi.
So this is the one that from whom that Kyabje Rinpoche, when he came for the first time to Lhasa, he had the opportunity to receive some teachings from this second incarnation of Taofu. And his full name is Ngawa Losan Tembe Ngudu, the second Taofu. And then the ninth in the line is the great master Kyabje Pawungka. And his full name is Jamba Tenzi Chilejatsu.
Jamzi Ndirawa Jamzi Chamba Lusan Yewayi Jamba Jambache. Tembe Nibun Zembe Pejuchi Tenziche. Chile Jasur Chen Lama Sen Sang Wande, Lama Ganga Sen Yoride.
So you find actually in each of those verses you find the full names of those masters in the line.
So
you have now 9 masters. So even though the name of Kyabje Rinpoche is not here in the text, but you have to include it there as the 10th, the name of the great master Kyabje Rinpoche. So there's a special verse which contains his full name of Kyabje Rinpoche. So one can include that here.
Tongolanji Ranju Lejan Sudel Hada Lame Chenlab Nusula Dene, Namba Goshinia Tensuni, Janju Sim Jobajilla Bargi, Lamring Toba Kangajula Javachinaro Nas, Lamring Man, Meta Mekaniza, Janju Kabashu Tishobu, Konjania Lamring Gungo Yore, Larin Pati de Yu, Satumba Gun, any new Jumaleri.
So this is since there are very few masters here in the lineage of this practice. So because of that, it is very profound and very swift in obtaining the great attainments. So by doing that, you have to absorb from downward from one master into the other. And then what you do is that when it absorbs into your guru, you should then make special prayers and saying that so by the receiving of their blessings, that one should be able to bring to generate special realizations from the start of the practice of a guru devotion up to the generation of actual bodhicitta, and you sort of making prayers to be successful in developing a special understanding of these, because that without realizations from the Lamrim, graduate path to enlightenment, then even if that one goes to meditate on emptiness or any great practice, it will not help. And besides, there's the danger of being sort of getting completely mentally crazy, because without having the proper foundation of the Lamrim.
Chewa medabani tejo dunshini zomba jigibe jerin zorin sama jegabage lama yongzo cho chi lisha. Gyo shinye telu di shinye sanju nigi telu di cho chi lisha ni koni jeyang dandari.
So actually the practice of the meditation on the impermanence, and then the practice of a guru devotion, the practice of the generation and the completion stage on one hand, on the other hand the practice of a guru devotion in both thought and in actual practice. So these two are sort of have the same kind of weight with one another. There's no so much difference from the profundity. So if one has all these aspects completely present in one's the actual training, then there will be no one will not have any difficulties in getting to the ultimate goal of full enlightenment of Buddhahood.
Tene maje bache thomu lavre de yusha doyaji me bache doyaji de becherin zorin thosaji lanya die dongbache kemo chodire jingoliya doyaji dongbaji ke shan ku haza le je de baji ma yusho gore ma do ga ke ben to ma.
So the thing is that if we without the proper training in the Lamrim, and only to engage in the meditations of the generation and the completion stage, then that would seem like that one is trying to put one single load on an animal. That will not work unless that you have two loads on each side. Just putting on one load on an animal, then one will have great disaster. One will have great problems of being able to transport the thing. And especially the practice of Guru devotion is the very foundation for all of this spiritual progress. And if one has this foundation, this very root, then it's not difficult to have the branches and all the leaves and the fruit and so forth. And if there's no root, no foundation, then there's no way to get the branches and fruit and trees, the leaves and so forth. So that is why then it is always said to be of the practice of Guru devotion as the very foundation of everything. So even if that one is not able to gain so much realizations from other paths, as long as that one does it precisely of the practice of a Guru devotion, then that will make a big difference. That one can, on the basis of that, one will be able to continue the practice and then with great effect in the next lives.
Oh yeah. Lanchi zawa shinye ten sunde la pyoge chulu jine chibari jagaga tu shen sote penti da kanga de lavon chibari namasan jiva yin chen che kanga londele mat mitamba yomari tuzu simle ja nyalen gusho malo ba che uri kaga yema jeva je lagong do ma shen ba che la ji le mi da odinere bu ji gong kai da ma shen ba ji je la le le yin ru ku tong le mi de zhe bu ji le le ji gong a zha ba zhi chi ani nyoyo nyochi nyoni le yamen de seba son zha de go de ya bu ji ba nyo go de de tu gu yo ma re sim ma ji de sang sing je nyon de ji le u ne nyo ba ni le u ne nyo ba ji yo ne chen ye ma sang ze ni yo ne sim ma de ze ani den de le yo de ce bu du kai zha dong me shen ge ge che de ce bu den de ma je ru chi ya da
So the practice of Guru devotion one finds in all the four traditions of Tibetan Buddhism, and also among the great practice of the Pandits and Mahasiddhas, and also that in that practice the practice of Guru devotion is the very root of all the attainments. So there's no difference. So all these sort of agree to that, and the full agreement of considering the practice of Guru devotion is the very foundation of all the goodness. And instead then putting this aside, if one would engage in certain meditations like on a deity, then because of the absence of the foundation, if one goes to meditate, then it could become very strange. It could bring very strange effects like like visualizing oneself in a very flat sort of deity with a very flat body or very multicolored, and then such meditations without a proper foundation then could lead a person to become completely sort of crazy. And this one says if one can really get violently crazy, then it's okay, but also not that. And then getting a lot of problems and depressions and all that, then that is and such things sort of might happen if one doesn't have the proper foundations.
Thomo langi raje le jangni savla rini toba ngoju des ta thomo langi ya uchong chaji simba tu chong sona and savla rini toba ngoju de savla rimba ni jerin da zorin re jerin da zorin ge toba ngo tu chune rang ge de jiwa ji noro no sju shore te chuna ani sanje no re sonju pa me ra je nyan tu sho sonju pa ma ji zme ko pan to lu yo re ji zme rang shen je si de rang sin ji zme ngo ri je yo re.
So then if one has the proper grounds, having trained precisely in the common ground of the path, then up to the point of generation of bodhicitta, then one can one can enter in the practice of the completion of the generation and the completion stages, and then through that one will be led into the state of the Yogananda of the deity Tara, and so that is the very final aim of the practice.
Ta demasya chewa mo chosis ta jizurime ko to sanje ko salya male na yang chewre ta teleju khaburwa male na yang shega lagala ani to susu nyane che ya kibe jidu ko tomba jiche lamdu ko tomba jiche tetres jidu ko tomba je lamdu ko tomba je le besene tomba jisu de noche to sung ge kao de shaya ge tomba chembu shendu tomba tamje tomba sire taje tomba te da gawa ji ge nan leji gawa gongo sa tere chena tomba ji te tere te du jong so chewa chugo lan che da gong shaya de nire tomba ji gongo yo tomba ji de shiru de tomba shayong gore te jidu ko tomba re kadu shishi de shagare jidu ko tomba jete ngo ma che tomba ngo ma che ba yinza ta te shidu ngo che ne wese tomba de ngo to churu to na jidu ko tomba leong ki shara ngo ya de lamdu ko tomba jida tri tong to bare.
So even if that one is not able to attain such great attainments in this life through the practice, then at the time of one's death, then due to the force of the practice in one's lifetime, then one will be able to understand, to recognize the four aspects of the emptiness, and being able to mix that, being able to integrate that with the four empties of the part, and then that will be a very great possibility, because that was the time that when one passes through the three different stages of white appearance, the red appearance, and the black appearance. In those stages, then that is the place where one comes to meditate on emptiness mixed with the great bliss.
아니 동시 세토가 있나 시류고 동시 대가 랑도고 동시선 생에 타도고 산다래 용거리 대에네 대에만에 봐도요 말이 주메고르당 주메고도 의세 손주 안 상제 지지르지르상 저치마 더가랑라 저치마 코나로 요야요 말이 봐도요 말이 봐도 매바 상제 돼 대에자 제랑동시 시베 람제터 녀랑 주 송거 송거지스 녀랑데 주메 ko goese sonju ju nyonan ju songu chuguchi julu goese sonju chuguchi songi deji trazo tone jabusho deji chama pang de saje no yori o tene yonshos tatiye kumure mazo.
So at the time of death, it's natural that all the winds are completely sort of gathered into the central channel. And so at that point, if one is able to mix the four empties of the death state into that of the state with the part, then one can, on the basis of that, one can arise in the illusory body of a Buddha, and through that one can generate a true clear light, and on the basis of that one can attain full enlightenment of the state of Buddhahood without having to go through the state of the Pado, or having to go through the intermediate state of a Pado, and in such a way that all the subtle aspects of the four maras are completely destroyed to attain ultimate state of Buddha.
Tate kabo yinza chi shen nyane chi ju ma ju che tumba chi gong ju ma ju che cheo chu go ba do long go se ro zo chi rin gong ju ma ju de che de ma de ju ma ju che da je je ba de ju ma ju che pe le ka dong go ko la sa ja ba te beng le lu ni shi so na pe sha ko ye ke ju ma ju che nyane ke ju me ba che.
And so if one is not able to do that, being unable to meditate on the four empties, and being unable to bring the three transformations, and being unable to recite the prayers, the long sadhanas, and then also being unable to take all the money that one has accumulated and having deposited in the bank, in such a way, if one had to depart from this life,
제가 공도야다 라마탄 데메 취지배라 농주진스 다 된데게 마중 동의스 마토네 다 단다메 본쇼 롱쇼 너무 잘 친구들 되게 바샤자 라마를 대바 마도버지 당시 마냠버지 요인자 저 치마래 양다베 라마 친년데데 라마 소봉 고고지 개 멤버 라마 야구지는 레원 멤버베 지스즈 메려쇼 라마다 메데와데 사즈기 취지배라 농주진 라메 취소 랑게 취지지용 취급에 취야가지베 농제지용 쇼스 대지야발 때는 사당 랑고 연대서 방din도 연대 존 산제 도지창고 토토버 쇼스 다 너너 담아로부터 전에 라메 용조고 뭐요
so then the so even if that one is not able to do that, but through receiving empowerments, and also through receiving the reading and the recitation of the text, and through having generated the proper faith and confidence, and not having committed any of those downfalls, and having kept all the samas precisely, then that should help to be with fully qualified teachers in the past, in the next lives, and that one can continue to enjoy the good teachings, and so in such a way that one can proceed smoothly on the path to finally to attain the state of Buddha Vajradhara. So that is the prayer that one is making, one is doing, directing one's mind to the Guru. And then after that, so one can, when you come to the end of this prayer to the lineage Guru, one can either absorb the root Guru into one's body, or one can leave it there. So whatever one wishes to do. Then after that, then there's the prayer or the text of Guru Yoga, and this is called the stairs leading to the liberation. Yeah.
Dande lama matim shagine taratsaga lama ya rala timbe lama to ishi chuju ko da rasim yime de churba samne lama rala tim lama de odu shune majune kan chene oju chesho lama thal cheva inza rala tim de rasim da mo yime de churne o deni melam jumat da bu nala rajim meva to da be lama ne ju sal don to ni ya tachu tade de la jetin di. So
one can do either way, that either that melting the body one's guru into light, and then light will be absorbed into one's body, or that the guru in its complete form will be absorbed into one's body. There's no difference whatever one does. But anyway, that through the absorption, that once the mind of one's guru is completely united with that of yours. So that is the integration of the guru into one's mind.
당연히 결시 마중에 냐체 진이 성화지 조로 전에서 셰바나의 준수의 냐년체 상로동 냐년 토바 상산으로 주소로 지금 있는 냠치지.
So even if that His Holiness will not be able to give the repetitions of explanations, but if he would give it in such a way that one can give in such a way like based on his own experience, then that will be a special type of commentary that we are receiving based on experience. And so just by one explanation, and then being unable to practice precisely, so through that one can only accumulate merit, and that explanation then remains as explanatory commentary or explanation that cannot become an explanation or commentary based on experience.
Lama trobe onju chimbo samji mechaba be joba mangu ma shinke chenla be tribe de maye khenji yinza choji tire ni so ngara tsule ine lama ru shigbe zozo sisi ru chene on shone tire chile tire na tu lesa de yore chi shu sa no lingi nima mamu goso nima dawarshi ma kandon ru gure lesa lan ru so this is very something very profound and very profound practice, and transmitted through those very great masters, and so there are very few in the line of this transmission, so therefore it's a very profound practice. And so when His Holiness received the commentary on this practice, he did it at Nobulinka, the summer palace of His Holiness, and every day that he went on foot just to receive one session of teaching on this, then he had to return in the evening. So in those days there were no cars and there were no horses, so he had always to go on foot for a long distance. So His Holiness says that he will try to explain it as much as possible, and if he will not be able to complete it, then he will just leave it wherever it goes. So never tell him so no children to Mugi, Modu Chini, Zawani Shin, Tenso Konala, Alution, Labra, Larry, Nyato, Samujula, Java, Lamechan, Juba, Konala, Gube, Lamen, Joranjo, Nieto, Chagubara Song, teacher, there is soon Lee, Chetanjo, Taralam, Nalamena Junior Solemn de la Song. Kulu, some Java, Lamen, Junior, Nansol, and Sepay, Jugon, and the Damo, Tamone Sule. Tomo Maimena, Lamen, the Tarana so long, Chao, Shinju, teaches the dream song. The Dana so long show, so says a Kulu. Then that Chimbo is a Yaso long show, dream song. Tanga, the English Yaso, Nivana Lama said, about Tayala, the Mambo, Shushi, Chao, Tambo ne Song Lialam, Dalu Tamashi So, Shibani, Kundu Dani, Joji, Bari, de Dalu Tamachi, Shisu, City, Taraji, Rangi, Joe, Bende, Denji, Doranda, Katoju, Tambo, Origin Zavelam, no, Aja, La Zavelam, Jayon, Pamaduma, so Sanja, Tamji, Ransu, Himbala, Namagino, Dojin, Zemoko, Kalama, Anchava, Sembe, Lansu, and Macha, Chuji, Chaji, Dojita, Jebe, Pemakavu, Yembe, Nyamjagi, Nyajagi, Vitubuda, Jibe, Karanzem, Navani, the Kacho, Kula Chukuna, Chukuna, Sonda, Ula Sendo, Ula Sendo, Penja Sova, Shavani, the Jirunga Jube, Jayuch, Jayunanga, Koshinju, and Juba, Tetavi, Lama, Simba. Tokara Ishi Simba Fama Dumia, Lasso Yura, Tartan, the Tokatingan, Tami Jago, Zembarwa, Lama Sima Sunzi, to some day, Joe Unga Wondaba, Amo, to a home, whatever so several. Somewhere Hajango, Samba Tetavi, Tokyo, Dangidan, Huini, Tamakomanga Shige, Tamahungi, Sembara, Sunja, Nizen, Rangi, Gumba, Hung, Tangi Samba Yimba Sun. Tedana Tokara Hong, Lekurjan, Ando, Tinga the Simba, Tami Jango said, Tedavi, Toge, Sabili was it true. Trade churches, Choju, Lama, Saji, the Boka, the Jew, so so, Jania Maluba, Jan, Tranti Timbe, Jania Gondi Jedania, Jura Samla, Tedani, Tedagi, Sundu, she to Samna, Samba, Juna, Givishia, to you, Doji, Zebi, Triji, Dimis, Shiva, Chavo, Niva, the Mambuani, Chizu, Novo, Shivani, Jajishimo, Shiva, Barijuda, La Somba Jelaba, Jello, Ni, Shishimi, Chavani, Soli, Tokatin, Sime Shivani, Nijoji, Milana, Shiva, Barichi. Shiva, Barichi, then the Alame Tokaran, Hatim said, the Vigiva Jaza Chiktan, Lamet Sanga Niechi, Dajen. Don't show the so development, Chivani, the Gabo, and the one to do the Mama Tokan, the Deva, Deva Soda Sanage, Halia, the Kado, not so, but never imagine treaty. Jean Darane, so solid him, one you touching, Kujin Rubin, the Vajaba so, one you channel Jimmy Bajon Daracha, the Zedrulo, Jalama, Randa Gata Cho, Tumbara Show, Guin, Susan, and the Partrini, so good, Rangi, Susan, the Timber Vachago were soon. Then about the Zavela, which you saw Radu Tavichi Lama to Shen the Jebe, Chichon, Chichon, Tesoraton, the Chivachizo, the show, the Ningabema, the Gigi, the Ranguation, the Travis, Long Saint Dang or Image Sudo, Yajomato, about the Temajuva San, and then Lama Hishu, Chetan, Chava, and the Tomoma Imbe, Nishu, Jemanga, Drilo. Suma pay you going in the Daman Sole. Laminated in a large sourcing, Gum, Tinky, a double metal, Meruma Ishi, Jello, Tangojo, Tamja, Lamala, then enjoy, Givernia Solama Chao, she is Somatara Kachisu, go to Jebarash, Pebatara in law. Lamena Jurasheba, Jansholam, Rimbitawa, Deva Jawali, Chetara Jowater, Rivayada, Givelane, Chegonji. Rakela Matia Sajaco, Jim, Soto, and she Shurat. Shudra give it in the Nakar, Koyanaba, around Commuja Lata Yerime to Jim de la Chutu, so out of Sheila Chaguchi. Teda Vengishi, me about Lamenaba Tavala, Lama Tameber Losoluni, Dujinagalame, Go Lame Koda Lai number so said, Devetela Chusu, Jibo, Lamenaju, Lonja, Sunyet of the Jabargao. The Daria really the Lamanishi, Rabi Damaya, Karashava, Goguji Mivatus, Jamalani, Kaya Mishela, Shesuma Dararo, Nibagujila, Talamenejo, Lamenejula Tagi, Lajuka Lamadi, Mamadi Jayun, Terra Lamenejuce. Tea to Ishisuma set of jury, Dramachu set up. Tea to Vatamishi, Simba Sunzi jury.
So, in case that one has not absorbed the Guru into one's body, then right at this moment you can visualize in his heart center the wisdom being, which is the little image of the deity Tara, and then at her heart, then you should visualize the Dhyana Sattva, that is the little green syllable thumb.
Talame Nejo de la Saji in the Sondoa, or Kuyo de Sam Jeroa. Lame Neju Nye Nyasole Su, Penyu Chukone Nintendo Dambas, Kuyo. Chazan did Nyasolang somebody. Ta, Maras Nyasolang war, Laya de Mojitiri, Telaya de Nilama Sedova, Yala Dumba Puba, Chela Shishi Niju Chava Song, Niju Song Yomari, Tomoba Ibada, that Lichaburi, Tanado.
So it was told to get the Tafu that by Tara herself that one should practice this particular Guru Yoga of Tara, and so this could be done divided into several parts. The first one is the generation of the Guru, and then after that the practice of 7 limb, and after that the recitation of the mantra, and then the absorption of one's Guru into the heart. So that could be done in 2 different ways. One is the common one, and the other one is a very special absorption of the Guru into one's heart. The one you find here is the common sort of more general type of absorption of the Guru into one's heart.
That lama matim sayun sarbache dalu tame chiu pede tingiso ran tame belu dagache shara duje tujon ke lun dagache te chiu ya matu zichile pe matan dawe tingdo.
So if you have already absorbed the root Guru into your body, then you have to visualize a fresh. You have to visualize again here the beginning of the text of Guru Yoga. You have to visualize again the complete form of the Guru, who is above your own head, yourself being in the ordinary form of a being. Then right above your head, you have to visualize first the seed, the lotus, and then moon disk.
Tuji de chen jeyung drama da yeme chen sawa lama nis ta lama chi yo dan chi le je umarwa te tuji de chen jeyung drama da tuji de tuji ba je yung sho jizo drama se drama da rang sawa lama ni mo yirme chen ko ni ji wa chen mo yirme be su ji de lama ta ge she wa na ji ko do ga lama na cha lo ju lu le na se che chu ge na ma song se wa ro jung ge she je she do ji ji lung ge ju ba 차에 도지단 제베 아니 배마가베 요 제마 추셰 차자 이 냐자 추셰 냐자 제야데 라메 제조 종송고의 산지 때마저바 선벌이 추셰 추이도잘 셰 냐자게 베 조베 때마 조 셰루니 이거니 때마 좀 선벌 이게 지보다 제베 냐자 텐지 냐자 차자게 지본지 되는 추고 차 니자로고 메도 베마레리 젠우스 같이네 얘기 되자 같이 되고 들어 있어야 되고.
So then above that seat of the lotus and moon disk, then you have to visualize your Guru, and which is inseparable from that of the deity Tara. Tara is the source of the great compassion of the old Buddhas, in the form of that of a bhikshu, and with white body, with slight shade of redness, and holding in the right hand the vajra and the white lotus, and the left bell, and then in the gesture of the meditation, the right in the gesture of teaching, and so this symbolizing the complete sort of the great ability of being engaged in the teaching and in the debate and in the composition, and then each of the hand holding the white lotuses and which open at the height of his ear.
Medo pema namayate desi duja rijen sunga tsungyor jangshu semba dang Nietu da rang sanje je tsung yore. Pema di nima shaung du kachi yore. Sanje jiten di chung so na, ane duja rijen sunja be yung yore. Di tsung yore. Medo uba la yang jiba yimu da. Kumun da singen di rang sanje tsung yore. Rangje ke nan jan sir tabu tsung yore. Sir tabu rangje sanje jiten di chodu yung yore. Sanje mebe shinga tumba da li yung yore. 저는 꼭 님의 가마치 나와게 같이 세나고 샤고래 다들 선대 쉐고면도 유슈 다 라마 고도 깔 라마면 당차셔야돼 고도 깔보다 고도 만당 요바 니게 줄유다 외세니 선벌 라마 줄유 손주 외세 손도 주 손주 도지 창게 고번이 선벌 선벌
And the lotus symbolizes the three types of followers of the Buddha. Buddha's teaching, namely that of the Bodhisattvas and the Sarvanga, the healers and the solitary realizers, symbolized by this lotus. And then the lotus opens up through the light of the sun. The same thing applies to the flower Utpala, and the color, the white color with slight shade of red, symbolizing the Guru having completely attained the illusory body and the clear light of the Buddha.
Lama Shejik Javati Chutanja Tijanya to Ruchivati Sumari.
And with one face symbolizing that all the dharmas are just of one taste for the mind, for the consciousness of the Buddha. And the two arms then symbolizing the levels of truth.
자유시에 도지배가 인부지보다 지배만 가른 zembe 추지 녀대 넘어지 추지 수도 메도지 녀게 될 넘어 같이 녀대 넘어지 추지 녀대 넘어지.
So in such a way that we visualize the triple body of one's Guru, and in the way that the lotus flowers then open up at the height of his ear.
추구 송수 선도 변신지스 추구 송사 당가라즈 미타는 샹다 추구 라구스 나자리 되고는 대송부들이 추구 송수.
And then wearing the three dharma robes.
선도 변신지스 올라 변신 조조도 여러분이 저도 대수로디 세보 세근도 제게 변신근지 봐지.
And then also wearing the Pandit's hat in golden color, like the ones sometimes the Dalai Lama also wears.
대선 변신의 통로 체네 sembo suge man dere bichu sujaure kema penja rimbu yore penja losan chuje ge penja jingale ye guma chige no tere techida rin thon daga zindu be so so shujore yoya de la penja be rimbu ya zo zo yoya de oma tenju ye lu ge somo de khona to ba ni ge dawa de shin don to dawa na kha de nya ba de ba yin so yore.
So the type of the pandit's hat which are being made these days by the tailors have become much shorter than it used to be, and his Holiness used to have one pandit's hat of that of the great pension, which is very very long, like he showed at you, about this high, and the reason is that it symbolizes the perfect view of the prasangikas with respect to the understanding of the emptiness.
Ta penja ke sheba mamu yore kanga chenge mendo joma taje bema kabur ha sona bema kabur chon serame ke taje chi konji taje chi konji imba yo gene ni shwe ni chi taje chi yore te ko la yong de da ali shomo ko ji penja su de ke chugo sun su sendo penja ji doji jiru yo na jo sha doji jiru je de jo de ke. And
then sitting in the posture of Vajrasana and in the amidst of an aura of light. So in the paintings that you see, the light is the light behind is quite a circle, But in the visualization, it should be not exactly circle, but slightly having the shape of a tent of five different colors.
Okay, Kampo in a shadow Jichirun Gushuba. That's simple song Jedu, Toga, Labe Lamu Magiandos, Ta Je Lama Zawe Lama Toga La, Lama Nama Cheng Toga La, Lama Jizundruma. Yang Yisimba. Jizundruma Chunyu, Kundo Magi Kando Jakondo Jango, Shasha Yonsuzuba, to Jongi Jizundruma Nanshi, Chunju, Yisimba, they said.
And then since you have to have the triple body of the Guru, so you have to visualize inside his heart the wisdom being, which is the little green Tara in complete form. And this image has the color of a jewel called market.
Magendo. Chai Chojin Umbe Ubala Kunju Sunzen Chaja Togazes, Chai Chojin, Umbe Kunju Sunzen Chajak, Chai Nika Ubalanzi, Yang Ubala Medo Gumbure, Cha Nyayungi to the Kachide.
And she's also holding in the right hand, being in the gesture of the giving of the highest attainment, and holding the Utpala. In the left, then with the gesture of symbolizing three jewels, also holding the Utpala flowers. And she's wearing the silk garments and adorned with 8 types of jewel ornaments.
Toshe da jere, samuto da ngare, pongje da chado shaudu kanga dobu schi tse trure, oba chane be garag sotche dunre. Da dunre son jere son somero, masoyin. Oda da derjen hasu jinje. Che. Na ye gong ye jang yong gong gur ya xiaoye zhongze zhong yong gong ne, jizhen zhebe zhoudan zhe ne, la me toga na le zhou diyor.
So she's holding she's wearing the 8 types of the jewel ornaments, such like the ornament for the head, and then earrings, and then the necklace, and then the long necklace, and then the bracelet and anklet, and so forth. So she is wearing 8 types of the different jewel ornaments, and then with the right leg extended and the left in drawn in. Also then sitting in the midst of this out of light. And then at her heart you should visualize on a little moon disk then a green syllable tam, which sort of then sends out 5-colored rays of light. And it is not the type of syllable tam that we often see in the text. It is sort of a more in its a more complete form, with the crescent moon, and as well as the nun on top, and a sort of very complete form of the syllable tam.
Huyige legurde tele riri te nawo dami jangutse te nyezen ge sungshe ya sungshe chi la hu dami ge tele nala huyi jo hu dam ge chamba che lu su chi dam hu ge chamba che nyezen de zo che bo nyezen de ne lama do chang go ne la cha ne chung go la sungshe shube go du ge be sungshe rang re.
So So anyway, that this syllable is sort of a very blazing and very radiant, luminous syllable Tam. And so now there are two, you have to place the 5 syllables in the crown, the white syllable Om, in the throat, the red syllable A, and in the heart, the blue syllable Hum, and in the in the navel, then a yellow syllable So, and then the in the second place the green syllable Ha. So then the syllable Tam has to be visualized in the circle of the syllable Hum, or another possibility is you should visualize the the syllable Hum in the circle of the syllable Tam. So there are 2 possible ways, but the more precise way is to, according to Judge Pamukkha, the time that when they received the teaching from Great Master Tafu, is to visualize the syllable Tam in the circle of syllable Hum.
Tugatai Janku Visembar. Oh, yeah.
Simba Sunji.
Oh, that's Simba Sunji, Dani, Chen Churubes, Lama Tatsi Simba. Toga Jizunduma Yishi Simba. Tangi Tingin the Simba, Simba Sunji. Simba Sunji, Dani, Chen Churube. Nema Uma Ahmada, Suez, Joe Drema A, Toga Hum, Joe Carbo, Drema A Mabo, Toga Hum Humbo, Dewa So Sebo, Saneso, Hajangushi, Oda Ringen Sabe.
So thus we have the complete the triple body of the deity of the guru. The first is we have this outer body, which is the body of the guru, and that is the body commitment body, and on the inside that we have the wisdom body, the wisdom being, which is the little image of Tara, and then at her heart is the green syllable Tam. So we have this complete, and then with the 5 syllables, the Om at the crown, and then A in the heart, the throat, and then the Hum at the heart, and then the So and the navel, and the Ha at the secret place.
That Yiginga go goya de Lama de Sanje Tamje Nube Mo Yimba de Tsunguyore. Sanje Tanje Su Dun Rija Ringa Risung Riji, Ya Ringa Nam Dudeore. Ringa de la Uma Ahun Swasha, Nabu de Ringen Sabere. Choji ni Ringen Ore. Choji ni Ishinga Yeranjere. Choji ni Go Song To Yune Chile Mari.
So the reason that why we have to visualize these 5 different syllables is to show that all the great qualities of the Buddhas of the 3 times 10 directions are completely embodied in the object that we have just visualized, and also it is to show that all the different Buddha families, such like the 100 Buddha families and 5 Buddha families and 3 Buddha families, are completely embodied in this object that we have just visualized. And also it is the 5 syllables are the syllables which symbolize the 5 wisdoms of the Buddha.
O la metenshu nale yore, mende nale ton yunga, melon ishi chimu rubale, concha bede riji ko temba. Naga chise rula tsukum china sange chung kodus. Yam nyanya ishi chimu rubale, concha rishen riji ko tembas. Ishi nga yi rangshen jawa ri nga che. Chitang de la, ore, tenese shulga chu yodang, kachu yorin kodu, shulga re che. Mendetal Jayong, Kissing Suzy Shoyimba, then the children Dona Chigumindo. Emerson Dungu, Cousin Yavadi, Remission News, couldn't true the man.
So here the Buddha Varachana actually stands for the perfection of the body, and the Buddha Akchabya stands for the perfection of the mind, And the Bodhisattva stands for the perfection of speech, and Buddha Ranasambhava stands for the perfection of the qualities, and Amugasidi stands for the perfection of the activities. So these are actually included in 6 verses, which are sometimes recited separately at the time of the offering of the mandala, and it has been done in recent times at the time of the teaching. So those lines of the 5 wisdoms are being recited.
Rangshin Tumba Seade, Tumba Nigi Rangshin Allah Lade, Shari Duje member. Koton Najing Lele member, Sadu Najing Duje member, Shada Riba member, Kumbu Kodum member, Kodum Chuji Kola Mesim, Julugu Tubanaliori, Nakin Jason Tavo, Chui Nagan Davatavo, Miju Tavo, Melangu Lu Tavo, Jume Chivu Tavo, Pechuni Yori. Julugu Pella, what the native Jigibe, not only so get Hachila, Salton.
So then the same time the kind of the nature of this what you visualize is something that it's complete in its form, and also that the nature of being is empty. It is not something which is being built by the ordinary substances like in one's body, like that of flesh and bone and skin and so forth. And then also it's not like the flat image, the ones that you find in the Tangas. Also it's not the type that is being built by using the ordinary substances like earth and stone and so forth. It is something very radiant and like the rainbow, like the dreams, like the illusory, like the illusions. And so there are many different examples being given to describe the body of an illusory body of a Buddha. So in such a way that you have to visualize the body of the triple form.
Chitang Lamen Nenjugu Lusure. Shikantaji Kula Zoba Siade, Sanluko Kaburi. Lola Chara Kaburi. Kui Shikantaji La Chaba Siade. Kui Shikantaji Kuchi Shikantaji Chagal, Besanji Sama Sanji Micho Yori, the Mazulu Shagamari. These are Lamen Pabu Puga Samane, Uze Padume, Uze Rizilla, Sanje Padume, Jansin Padume, Shingam Padume, Sijig Tantanya, Tuni Sijig, Tantana Zegi, Jambaruchi Saltongo, Sanja Carisaldon, Sijig, Mazek, Sanje Salton Yomari.
So, since that we visualize this object in the form of a Buddha, and so therefore it is very good, and since that we understand it is the nature of one's own guru, and so therefore it is a very powerful means to receive blessings. And then the another thing is that we should consider that the body of one's guru then completely covers all the realms and environment, the universe and so forth. At the same time that all the environment are completely being present in the body of one's guru. But this is something very difficult to understand. But but what you can do is you can visualize that a lot of rays of light coming from the body of your guru through all the pores of his body, then going out a lot of rays of light, and which then benefits, fulfills all the desires and the wishes of the sentient beings. Because for the Buddhas there's no interruption. The Buddhas are always engaged in very many different activities to help to benefit sentient beings.
Lama Sanje Sotoe Deva Yuna, Jende Maton and Digri. Sanje Chi Yin and Sanje Tamje Yunguri. Sanje Tamje Lob Michi Nori. Maransu Kakari. Rarasu Sanlo Kakari. Sanje Rudu, Sanje Tanje Tosin Chibari, Good Chibari, Sun Chiba, Tu Chiba, Yune Chiba, Chile Chiba, Kangalobe, Rochi Resumari. Temano Sanje Sole Yune Chichon, the Chile Jagurdo, Chile Jachichon Yoguri. Then another Gyodi Nyoda, and Karasaguri, Dojima Ruju Shadow. Chill Hakanga, Chin Ruju said, Ruya Mero. Ruya Unity go on Togo. Then is a Sanjay Tanji Jiba Yimbati, Mobinelure. Sanga Lue Tare. Pajitive Lole Sanjay Tanji Jiba Yimbas, Shadow, Julaman Sunyore.
So when we have a sort of very firm, stable faith, then there's no need to have doubts whether they actually would come if they are invited. And so when one Buddha is invited, then it means that all the Buddhas are invited, because Buddhas are all of just one nature, one taste, and not like the ordinary beings. The ordinary beings are different from one another, being separate, but Buddhas are not like that. That all the Buddhas are just because for them there's no difference from each one, and all having attained a similar state, so they have sort of become fully integrated with one another and have become just of one taste.
Yine jende madon riya tende jende toya dele susu deva jiya ge tawre. Mado sanje singende lumaji ni suchi le peyun, lumaji na le pe sinju tumba jaya tende yomare.
So the reason that why one recites the text or the verses of invitation is a means to generate even stronger sort of faith and confidence in the three jewels, and for that there is the invitation, the text of invitation. It doesn't mean that Buddhas are invited from one place to another, and that means that the other place becomes empty of being absent. It doesn't mean that Buddhas are everywhere.
Sanje ke ko ngo nye ji ko de la raje na da ke ngo nye ko de na dong ba ji chu tam je da ngo ji be chu ji yo re ma do ji ne ba ji len re yo ma re chu tam je do ko ngo ji ba je yo re yi shi chu ji ko de na sanje ke tu ji tu zhe wa da qian ba de re tu zi dang tu qian tu ji de ne ji ni ji len ru sa yo ma re o ya ka re sa Chuna Rajan Rongkun de Yang Siadi, Monia will Shaguri. Jiang Chavi Chinzi Chile Jensia, Sanjig Chile de, and Koran Raman, Ju Tabalanju, Duja Ju Madabala, Miju Yadi, Tebe Ongre. Chava Tongi, Chavanyandi Tongi Yore, 7 law di Chung, 7 Milo at the Chungumari. Danaji, Lai Jibi Chavojan, 7 Mirum and Chunders. Tuji Kamsha, Tuji Ronges, Sanjay Tuji de Lomachin Jil and Ria Mes. Tuji Kamnaja Inja.
So when we speak of Buddha, then we speak of the natural body of a Buddha, and the natural body of Buddha is the emptiness. So that covers all the dharmas, all the things, all the phenomena alike. In a similar way, that the wisdom body of a Buddha also cannot be invited from one place to another, because wisdom body is everywhere, and also the activities of Buddha then can sort of then come to a person that whose mental imprints are ripened, but not to those who are not ripened. Then Buddha's activities cannot have any effect on those. It is like the falling of the rain, and when the rain falls, then the seeds which are ready to be ripened, then can this rain have effect on them, but not the ones which are completely sort of rotten or which are not proper, then this rain cannot make them ripen.
Lawan Luigi Zuni Charvashi, the Jendrusin Saji Zamala, Tobe Umbeku Zuni Charis, Sanya Sonju Zasonge, Jaja number J Foran Juyore, number J Foran Jaja Parusu Chidu, Mega Sacha Koran, Sonjason Sajim Miruyer, Tevala Yaga Jajin Zuni the Shadi Yore. There are Najan Arazu similar to Abada, Jiva Sabri Chinson, Sanjan Jayum Yore, Sanjata Choju Sanjik Zuni Survey. Angemasona Yudi, Sanjay Shajato and Jeden, the journey, Jerriva, Tango Sunje, Duja Zo Sundi, Gomazo, Su Nanja Amado, and Joyorova. Tishin Shiva Shajatovich and Zamolin, the Shen, the Yangani, the Sultan, the Shinkan Gentle, Tishin Shiva, number of Jubani, say, Tendua, General Pichanandua, Tende Yinza, Sanjay Goya, Jin and Ruchil Peche, Yomari.
So, if we have the proper faith, and then if we are able to purify the negative imprints, then it is possible for us to see Buddha in directly in person, and it is like the god Indra, when he's in his palace. Then wherever that he is walking, that is his image is always reflected on the ground, because the ground is made of the jewel called lapis lazuli. So it was fully capable of reflecting of God Indra wherever he is. So likewise, that when our imprints are completely purified, negative imprints, then that makes it possible for us to see the Buddha directly. And but then at the time of the historical Buddha, that the sentient beings are able to see him in person, it's because of their karmic imprints.
Ona chente peya mene chente on the karche, chente toya me averves. Chente tongoya de lo dabe chere, chente choju shinkara ya do sanje tamje, sanje chanju simba joyu ma sangwa me ba sinje be joyu yin chenche chente on the nake kango san chente on ne, ane rangi joyu tinga lama de tingsung, jone kundu du jurusung sam me ba teje, ane chente tongoya sa lo ta che, deba cherin do, sinda chebu yung.
So then one might think that it may be not necessary to recite the text of invitation, but it's done in order to remove the negative sort of hesitations or negative stains of one's mind. One does recite the text of invitation, and one should sort of invite a space full of the countless sort of forms of the deities, and then all of those will be absorbed into the one that one has visualized, and then through that one can generate even more the faith and confidence that one already had. And then what happens is from the heart, from the syllable home and the thumb, then going out a lot of rays of light, which invite all the object of refuge, and the Vedas and Dakin and everything will be invited and then will be absorbed into that body.
Pay you men set it in the mare. Marato Lama so in Chile pay to the Jaga Union, show your mare Sigridon, Zinu Tombari. Sanjet in the mare, cheap pay no the Jubari, Ni Pennes, Chul, Mamiji, Ni Shere, Sevayo mare. Pay you yore, pay at the Ranos, Mabotan Temple, Sijing to Dari, do a chet. Pelu Canada. Chundajendo Karmi Tenama, Tindigene, she suelas, Dawa Rizzo the Shayundi, Chunio Kanga, Nalandazuni Shayuri. Naje Tunda Jin, Chutunda Lu Shayuna, and Devalandara Shayundi, Kanga Nalandavari Shayori. Dawadi Nema Yuma, Zuni, Queen Shabata, Zuni, the Shayuri Mato, Jin and Rojila Leguer, Galeru Sani Yomari. So the seller young, Tavishima, Lawan religious Unisha, and Rod Zuni Chanu, Nume, the New Raju Ongan Juice, should know the son of Sebu Yomari, Chotomana Sebu Yori.
So this one says that when we invite Buddha, then it is not like inviting a person. And when you invite a person from one place to another, then he can be only at one place and not the other place. And for the Buddha, even if you invite one Buddha, that doesn't mean that the place where he was before will be empty of Buddha. There will also be Buddha. It is like the emanations coming from one base. It is like the moon shining from above will be reflected in many, even the thousands of parts, water parts below. The reflection of one moon then coming into all of those parts. So in a similar way that the Buddhas could be invited. But there's the question of whether the reflection is clear or not. So there's this difference, but he is anyway sort of being reflected in all the places.
Lucins, Simit, Zangmaya, which you know, Lucin, Sai Zangma, Lama Lucius, when you shower his, Simitele Tebe, Nuba Meba Teba, Teba Sungun on the Munduch Teba, Ichi Teba, Tawe Teba Sungre, Tawe Teba the Soul Gore, Tawe Teba the best, Show Trabuya, which you know, and Sanja Moon, Ke Besu Shams. Teba Shivaram Man, Sanja Moon, Chayune, Jegumari, Doja Chinjegri.
So it is like if the water is not very pure, then the reflection is not very clear, like that of the moon. If the water is very clean and very pure, then the reflection is very, very clear. So likewise, if the person who invites the Buddha, if his state of mind is not very clear, like not having enough or stronger faith, then the reflection of Buddha which comes as being invited will not be very clear, and even if that Buddha would come, he will not be able to see it. But if the person happens to have a very strong faith, like having a very pure water, then it will be possible to invite the Buddha and even to see him.
Shinye Mir Tonga Gase Inso. Marasu Leg about the Diva Tusu de Latani, give Shinya Sanje Pataja, me and Jetua Akawu Imbre. Lenga Diva di Chisuj, Shinya Mir Tonga Garsa, Gasui, Chetan Pumru Maton Sunachi, and so on. Sanje Mo Chayone, Nyawata Ida Nama Perus on the Shenji Jibu Tone, Sheta, which in the Contula. So
for us it seems that we have the quite powerful accumulation of wholesome imprint and energies, because that we are able to see and to meet and to contact the masters who represent Buddha, and but if we speak of the accumulation of unwholesome imprint, then that makes it's going to be very hard to see our own guru in the form of a human being, and it cannot be excluded that one might not see one's guru in the form of a dog or a donkey like that.
Rangdan Dodere, Rande Joy, Lama Kaje, Mishenge, Pa Love du Gome, Togu Pa Judo Che du Buke, Lama Gashi, two Tomo, Shisashika, Mizala, she, our Manzu Lama de two don't say you da scotch. Two Tombo Shisashorama, the Jojo Chevere, Kundu Yuja, Kundu Yudu Dore, Chadamusu, you can shed it. Tadana Mazulama to tow in the occasion, my secret, to tow secret, Mishenge Chili. Truthing machine to the condition joy. Or the next share the singbe, they will maybe that with the time.
So this one says that we have the inclination sometimes to describe our gurus in a very sort of in a very strange way, saying that that we have a guru that was not very capable of earning his own living, or that he is very temperamental, or he is like a Mahasiddha. So here that the Mahasiddha is then sort of being said in a very sarcastic way, saying that is a little bit sort of stupid. And so that shows the lack of faith and confidence in one's guru. when we have this kind of attitude. No, Kawaleson.
Solan chiji dinge zi todi. Pena gigen de no chu meba gigen gra ri chile tezi je go ne je sha ya. Gigen chen chen de tezi ri ji ja da zu ni ja su su ru kong la pa ru ba ya bu ja ne solan chung ring solan chung shu ji dinge zi to sun su yong gigen je da san je sha ji to ba na cho gu chu gu je gre.
So what happened is that so his Holiness says that when we sort of then pass on, proceed on the path, and then going through the developing the going through the procedure of the part of accumulation of the bodhisattvas, then this could be done. This is divided into three stages. The first one is the small stage of the part of accumulation, and then the second stage of the part of accumulation, and the greater the stage of the part of accumulation. But when we finish the third stage of part of accumulation, then it is possible for us to see the Guru that we usually sort of then feel to be quite a sort of faulty kind of type of teacher or Guru, and even could see him being fully endowed with all the great qualities of a Buddha. So then if we still proceed on the path, and then passing through the part of preparation, and then finally we come to the third stage. Third stage is part of seeing and becoming a superior. At that time, that we could see one's Guru in the form of the body, in the form of the enjoyment body of a Buddha. So if we are very we could become very precise in visualizing the Buddhas and so forth at the time of inviting, then we can receive a lot of blessings, like the example of the reflection of the moon in the water. So then finally that we should think that the since that we have all of the object of refuge having absorbed into the body of the Guru, so this has become the embodiment of all the object of refuge. So then after that we should sort of generate a very strong faith and confidence, then should perform the 7 limbs to accumulate merit. So the 7 limbs are the limbs of prostration and offering, confession, rejoicing, and then requesting to turn the wheel of Dharma, and then to requesting to live a long life, and then the dedication. But here the request for long life then will be sort of then pushed in front.
Nyangalimenda so to but the whole Jaguya, the Chuga Nanga chambers, the Chashi in Song Yor. Sosa de Jung Java, the Shin Lama man, the Tavio. Then is a Lama good system but the Kachori, and the Jurona Shad in Helishori. Lama Joe from the Chachi Chukuri Chuba Vijua and Ladama Churi, or the rest of the Chizu Novujan Chuba to Jus, Rangichua Lama Gunjava Tela, so the Randa, Rangatan Ravi Chiro, Masija Sudan, Suina, Suzu Chutan Lama de Nyangali Medal, Rangichu, Jendu Juro Chi, Samaruchan, Mabachevin, Yonzolere. Chizu Novujan Chuba to Jus.
So here the reason that why the request for the long life of the Guru comes first at the beginning of the seventh limb is because that if the Guru lives for a long life, then there's always the possibility to accumulate merit and then go through the purification. So that is the great point for having done that at the beginning as the first of the seven limbs.
Luke Gonibe, Yalon Chatsego, Temujan degree, dead Lugichari. Nagoni Turbaton, Yonejova, Nagichari, Ijigoni Tevacheva, Ijichari, Luma Yusun Jubachi region, Luma Yusun Gube Chatselos, Chatsayalache.
And then the second one is the limb of prostration, and one doesn't need to rise up, but one can do it with folded hands. Then offering prostration, and at the same time the reciting the great qualities of the Guru, that is the the offering of the prostration through one's speech. At the same time that with very firm faith and confidence, devotion, that is the mental prostration. And then the third one is the offering of the making offerings in reality and as well as in imagination. So as for the offerings, that we are not very precise with these, and even that when we take our meals, that immediately sort of then start eating from the plate and without making offerings to the three jewels, and so in this respect that we are not very precise. It's possible that one may have kept some flowers as an offering. So it would be good if one can do some offering of the water. If one does have some bowls, water bowls, one can make some water offerings, since water doesn't cost anything.
Namu Bhagavati Baza Saratamada Tatangataya Siakha, Sa Sung, Yenja Puina, Yenja Ding Kale Mene, Javasada Jiva Jangal, Chebe Charchimbo, Zabulin Consul Zero Tendea, Truyunguri. Te Zungu Tolichive. Taya Saluton Be, Sabo Yabushane, Be Gonton Yabu Gon Be Chabachiri Nama, Nasoba Be. Karine Chebata, Nuta, Rara Sui Abuji Saluton Toyona, River Tolichiva Cheber. Tene Salu Shamatone, Ta no Chebanaka Koma Yer, some Mavaja to the Meve Tolicho Cheber. Monshan Sori, Mudo G, Drumbes, Monsu Shambe Cheba, Zumji Tolichiba, River Tolichiba, Meve Tolichibas, all those future. Monshan Yuju Cheba Mali Mus, Chebayanagia.
So then that was the whatever that one can sort of arrange in an actual form, that is the offerings and the reality. But then we have the opportunity to bring the lot of offerings in imagination, and something that could be created through the mantras, through aspiration, and through special mental capacity. And if you recite this mantra of the offering, and even if you dare to offer just one single bowl of water, then the effect of that could fill the complete space, or the universe, the great universe of Jambudvipa. And so that is one way of making offering, using the mantra, the power of the mantra to make offering. And then likewise one can also use the special aspiration and the special mental capacity to make offerings, to make it multiply through those concentration. And then the third one is all the negative imprints of whatever that one has accumulated with respect to the three types of the individual, the vows or the pledges. And so all of these are done from the depth of one's heart, being confessed. And then the next one is the act of rejoicing. Also one can rejoice in the good activities of oneself, and through that the effect of that will increase, and as well as the rejoicing in the activities of others, such as like the activity of the Buddhas, and in this way one can accumulate a lot of merit. And instead of rejoicing in the virtuous acts of others, if one instead don't have jealousy, that is a very powerful means to accumulate unwholesome imprint. And the thing that thinking sort of with a very great jealousy that he sort of having done much better than I have done, in this way that one can accumulate a great amount of unwholesome imprint. And on the other hand, if somebody would make an offering to a sangha or to an assembly, and if you then would rejoice in his act of making offering, then you also then will obtain similar sort of amount of imprint, like the person who actually have done the offering. So in this respect, the great Lama Tsongkhapa had said that with very little effort that one can accumulate a great amount of merit, which is the practice of rejoicing. So one shouldn't sort of take pride in having done something nice, like that, having done retreat or having done special prayers. Instead, that one should, without pride, one should rejoice in the activities that one has already carried out in the past, and through these, then effect of those will multiply by themselves. And one example is that the king, there was a king called Sejil, that he, just by rejoicing in the good activities of others, that he attained finally the state of an arhat.
Jebusing Leka Mangure, taking where you and the digital non check shore. And Jebukan Digri, Chenian, so silence, so Salo Yabuton. Mr. Gyojing at Sula Saluton, the Abore, Santitrat, said Jesus run lover. And come to Saluton with any judgment of Sonore.
Then this great king that he once told to the king that he was not able to abandon his kingdom, and he was not able to abandon his queens, that he was not able to abandon everything what relates to his kingdom, but at the same time that he would like to find a method. So Buddha taught him this practice of rejoicing. He said he should do this 3 times in the day and 3 times in the evenings. So he did it very precisely, and on the basis of that he finally attained, he became an arhat. Sauji
Jaji Chungo Kuwata, Kutu Sus, Sabata Jaji Chungo Kuro now Sita, Chivalama Kundilation, Chungo Kuwa Kulori. Chungo Kuro now says Shiada, Hajung Pemba Chimbo Suna Chimbo, Lode Nyabo, Chiwa Chiman Arasu, Loda Ganes Mejiag Tabsojiri. Sabji Jaji Chungo Kuro, Sabata Jachiwa, Saval Hayukolo, Maria Saba Tumba Jachiwa Hayukolo, Sabjigu Chunguta. Saba Tumbani, the Jachiwa Paris Chimby Juba Shambashed, Sabjeg Chungur. Other Sajani with the Kavajaja, Manguyor, that's Saba the Jachi Chu Surona, Bessinja Tamja the Chungokoro Chisjan Shugur.
Then the next one is that you are making another request to the Guru to turn the well of Dharma, and with respect to the profound and extensive aspect of the Dharma. And here the profound refers to emptiness, and extensive refers to the meditation of the will of the deity, and to turn the well of Dharma in order to benefit all sentient beings. And this will become this will have a direct sort of impact against the generation of the wrong views.
Dajin Gyo Janji Chimongo, Tari Rangi Becha, Chibala Suba, Gyoji Sasa, Kazan Kaninka, Genchi Sabe Gyo, Soni Joma Basaju Gyo, Kanga Ruche. Jenda Tsugia Sabe Gyo, Kanga Tsuru Ruche, and Betela Tene, Besija Tajigu Tondala, Chanchu Chimbo. Or Sanje Jokobon Tobi Chedo Mone, the Sanje Kobon to Julian Yo shows and Wamana Javari.
And then next one is the whatever that merits and virtues have accumulated by oneself or by anybody else, will be dedicated for attaining the great bodhi, the state of full enlightenment of the Buddha. So if one does these 8 limbs precisely, then it covers both the fields of accumulation and purification. And sometimes it is said that these 8 limbs not only include the 2 aspects of the accumulation and the purification, but also an aspect of increase.
Tawi Gitala, Omodari Dodari Soasia, the Yongur Chadi. Jamuchi Yalonde, Yalonde, this set up, and the territory Sosi, Madron, my Jazachidon. Mamudron Jamari, Jazachidon. That is the Zimbejan Chavabe, the Menuati. The Zimbejan Chen Yabu City. So, the
His Holiness says that then this point, the syllable, the green syllable tongue, and the heart of the the deity of Tara, then which is stands on this little moon disk, and then which is surrounded by the counterclockwise by the 10-syllable mantra of Tara, and all the letters sort of standing on that the surface of the moon disk, and then with full concentration one should recite this mantra about 100 times. And also one can do the visualization of the coming from those the rays of light and nectar, and especially from the syllable tongue. And so that was a very powerful means of accumulating merit and purification. And also one can recite, after the recitation of this 10-syllable mantra, one can also recite the mantra which contains the name of the Guru, either about 100 times or 21 times. So this one thinks that he will stop there today. He thinks that it's not going to be possible to complete this commentary, and so wherever it will be stopped, then the rest then will have to be taught by somebody else.
Yeah. Tande onji chenlo de she na chagum chasamare onji chenlo lama nishu tumu de she ta tumu mai ba she mare de chane de ni jene da jere da tine ro chi de jajim de dare pale ni chona lama ne jo de ta daru ri yala de ba che daru to jaza chi dong lama chenga yo ne chenga ni so ji ji dong ta de she ya de nyane ji.
So after this, then there is the part in which the Guru will be absorbed into one's heart. And then, so from today on, that you have to recite at home this text of Guru Yoga, and you will have to recite 100 times the mantra of the Tara, and followed by the 21 recitation of the mantra which contains the name of the Guru.
Dagi chini sabe gyo ndi den do Kyabje Zong Rinpoche tembe nyimbu rinpo se je sho Choshin me da chama ri Sanje shi mi ne Dhubanam da shin Guru Janam Mandana Kami Yata